let's talk about Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. There's a huge multiplayer reveal event last week. Dan Reichert from Giant Bomb was there. Rob Handler from GameSpot was there.
I was.
Jeff Gersman from Giant Bomb.
I was
not so
on
much.
vacation.
You were on vacation?
I saw the game at E3 though, so I'm familiar.
Familiar with
the details.
Exo jumping business. All right, well, let's talk about it because this is Call of Duty multiplayer. I think, Jeff, you probably have more Call of Duty multiplayer experience than all of us on the here combined. Dan, do you play much?
Yeah, I've kind of been the Call of Duty guy for the last several years.
Well, that's right, because you at Game Informer, you said you did the cover story for it, right?
The cover story for Advanced Warfare and Ghost, and I did all the review and multiplayer trips and all that stuff. So yeah.
So you guys got chops, Rob.
I played a lot of the first couple, and then kind of dropped off on Ghosts. Played only a couple hours.
Well, Advanced Warfare, of course, the big thing is movement. Is you got a double jump, you can do this dash to the side business, and I think it's pretty freaking great. I think it is just this really neat kinetic change up to the way those matches play. What do you guys think?
I like how it had the basic stuff you can do, like the dashes, the dodges, and things like that, but you can also go into your customization and pick that extra exo ability, whether it's the mid-air hover or the boost slam thing where you punch down on the ground with that finite battery. So you basically have to pick and choose when to use that.
So are the soldiers as resilient as they always have been? Like they just go down in a few shots? Because that's that kind of ground pound thing seems like you would just get shot out of the air over and over again. It'd have to be real fast, right?
Yeah,
I haven't actually seen the ground pound.
I feel like it's
in
not
action,
something
but
you want to do when it's facing off with someone.
Sure,
you're not going to double jump and try to ground pound
It's just going to be almost like a stealth thing, like you got up behind somebody and you're like, check this out, bam.
Yeah, like Assassin's Creed thing, you're up above someone,
and
you just jump down on them and punch.
And because it's so easy to get to different levels of the map now with the double jump,
the mobility is huge, and it's one of those things where it's like Call of Duty has been so just staid and plain for years and years that at least they're finally making basic changes to just mobility and stuff like that could be huge. So I came away from my time with it going this could be cool.
Yeah, as opposed to adding up more dogs. I mean, they kept trying to top themselves, and I felt like now they eliminated death streaks, just basic score streaks now. But going back on dashing, the coolest thing was remember one of the last matches we played, I was finally synapses in my brain were hitting. Where it was guy on a platform walking above me. How do I get to him? Jump up and then left and then shotgun the face. It was this immediate gratification where once that's in the mix, you can have some really interesting gameplay.
Yeah, and it seems like I think there are some people that are quick to just go oh, it looks like Titanfall. It's it does, but the exosuits it's not mobile the same way Titanfall is, and there's certainly some similarities there, but I think they're carving out their own thing.
It's a different kind of mobility, right? With Titanfall, you need to you have the double jump, right? But you have to, in order to make the most of Titanfall, you're running along walls.
Yeah, you're doing wall hops and all this really cool parkour stuff that I really love. This is different. This seems like a slightly more deliberate than that, where it is that kind of just double jump, boost left, it's almost like UT or something, with the kind of double tap dashes and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, with those jukes.
Yeah, it feels like there's more weight to them than there is in Titanfall. Titanfall is kind of, I don't want to say floaty, but I mean, you can really just be sprinting around doing all the wall jump to wall jump stuff, and this, deliberate's probably a good word for it. So you can dodge something or get out of the way of a grenade or something, but you're not just flying all over the map.
And I think because of that, the short range boost, and it's the hover is it's a short range hover. You're not going to be hovering around the map like it's some kind of drone guy raining down death upon everybody. But it's all sort of focused on this short-term maneuverability, this just a quick move, a quick sort of engagement. And I think that the way that Call of Duty's always been is firefights are very quick. It's all about positioning, and then once you guys are actually shooting at each other, it's over almost immediately after that. So having that stuff crammed into that speed is I think really interesting.
And that seems like a difficult thing too. It'll lead to situations where you go I could just pull the trigger because I know that works, but maybe in some cases a side dash would be a smarter idea, assuming you can then reposition.
I might actually be able to get out of the way of someone shooting at me, as opposed to just the first bullet hit me, I'm dead.
Yeah, right.
Because the next two are going to hit before I can react and move significantly. If you can actually dash, then it sort of stretches out that encounter. Which
maybe, yeah.
It's kind of smart the way they map it to the controller because, clicking the left stick has always been sprint forward, but it doesn't really do anything if you're going left and right or back. And now, it's just basically click is the extra speed in whatever direction you're holding the left stick. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see, like, down the road, like when we were playing, not many people were using that. It was only the last couple of matches where, like, oh, I finally pulled that off successfully in the trailer that I just saw.
You get comfortable with it.
Yeah, and once that starts happening, I really see that game looking a lot different and just feeling a lot different. Like, instead of just like headshots, it's going to be like, oh, that combo move he just pulled. That's going to be something to look forward to.
And I think especially in uplink mode, which is the new sort of mode that they were showing off at the event we went to, it's there's a neutral ball that you have to throw into this glowing sphere on either end of the map. The fact that those juke maneuvers, that maneuverability, when you're trying to run the ball from point A to B, that opens up a whole different kind of pace.
It feels like an American Gladiators event.
It kind of does.
And you get extra points if you dunk it through by boosting through.
You do.
Yeah,
you do.
I like that a lot.
For me, though, the mode conversation just starts and stops with did they put headquarters in it or not? Because that's Ghost didn't have it, and it was just like, why would you not do that?
Headquarters is your jam.
It was kind of the other mode. It's like there's team deathmatch and there's headquarters, and then you're done.
There's other.
You don't like Domination?
It's all right.
That's great.
Domination is older than me at this point. It's just like, come on. Team deathmatch is the mode. That's the mode that lasts. And then headquarters was kind of the young upstart that was fun. But
There's Hardpoint that's coming on back.
Okay, yeah, Hardpoint's good too. Yeah.
We even touched briefly on Uplink how you could, especially with all this customization of class and everything like that, that we were almost getting a conversation about like a football team, like different actual type of people customized for different things, like running of the ball. He would be decked out with the double XO abilities, just because that's all he's doing. He's running, get the running boost, and then maybe a health regenerate, and then you got maybe a QB throwing it downfield. That's all they're doing. You could basically see a team coming kind of.
And I think that's how it differentiates itself from modes like Oddball and other sort of control the ball stuff that we've seen before. It's you can do this pass, and I didn't notice this until we were going back and looking at the footage, but if you have the ball and you're running, and any of your teammates get into your view, it'll auto-select one of them as a pass target, and then you just pull the left trigger and gun it to them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Do you realistically think anyone's going to actually care about that mode?
I want to do it. Yeah.
I mean, beyond I want to do it and then play it for the first week.
I think
I feel like if you look at Call of Duty modes and you look at the player counts, we are just talking about TDM and death and domination.
Oh, for sure. And that's normally what I play.
Yeah,
that's.
I can see it getting as much traction as Gun Game and some of those added one of the chamber modes that Treyarch's put in the Black Ops
There's the
games,
one you want to play when you don't just want to go play the bread and butter.
Yeah, exactly.
TDM.
Yeah,
and it's not going to get the numbers that TDM gets or whatever, but people will play it. I think.
It's one of those hard things where it's I feel like there's the expectation that they need to keep coming up with new things and all this other stuff, but ultimately people are just going to play those two modes.
So is this a new? The movement of Call of Duty. You're optimistic about the future. Do you think this will be? Certainly, it seems like we're all welcoming it. Do you think that the consuming public buying millions of Call of Duty copies a year?
I think it's really it is definitely risky on their part, because if you look at it almost feels like they've been afraid to make drastic changes to Call of Duty because
it ain't broke.
It's their golden goose.
Yeah.
If you mess with it too much, it's no longer the game that people fell in love with. And, but I think that they've reached a point now. You look at Ghosts, you look at kind of just the player numbers and stuff like that. It didn't seem like it had the staying power. They obviously need to make changes.
Yeah.
And personally, as someone who's just been getting more and more bored with it as the years go on, this is the most dramatic change they've made.
Yeah.
It's not just hey, we came up with a ninth new way to unlock stuff. Though they came up with that too.
They definitely have that too. There's a pick 13 now, Jeff.
Oh,
it's a whole different game from pick 10.
Whoa. And then loot crates, right? Because Battlefield, that's everyone's favorite thing from Battlefield and Mass Effect.
Listen, man, they
gotta
bring microtransactions in there.
You think they will? Because that's always been the thing. They're Call of Duty made so much money that they always were we don't need to sell currency or we don't need to charge for multiplayer.
They tried with Elite.
They did Elite.
That's right.
And they, obviously they sold this Snoop Dogg voice pack, which is fantastic. I use it. Whenever I'm playing Call of Duty Ghosts, I use the Snoop Dogg voice pack.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
And so it's one of those things where you look at the loot crates, you look at it how it was in Mass Effect 3, and you're oh, am I going to start buying crates to unlock
if the
stuff
chance
early?
is there and they get something neat, Who knows? We may be paying for little things in Call of Duty in
like
addition to the big thing.
But they've been
New pair
selling
of
weapon
gloves.
skins and all this other crap for a long time.
yeah.
Like, for the last couple of years, they've been getting into selling you garbage. So why not?
New innovative ways to sell you garbage.
That's right. This weapon skin that you'll barely see on your gun because who looks at that?
Because you're sprinting like
It
this.
looks
all the
like
time.
weed leaves. Yay!
All right.
Finally!
All right. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, it's out in like a few months, so you know a lot about it. Probably see a little bit more before it comes out.